صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا شهيد يا غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Illuminate your hearts and majalis with a loud salawat for Muhammad and al-Muhammad. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We mentioned last night that the reputation of our religion, Islam, has been deeply damaged in this country. And the message of this religion has likewise been distorted. And that's why we said it is the obligation and responsibility of every single one of us to rise and defend and protect this religion in any way that we can. The Holy Quran says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal maw'izati al hasana." God says in the Quran, invite people to your religion, attract people to your faith through wisdom and kind and good ways. And we said one of the most effective ways is through our actions. When our actions are good and positive, this will attract others to our faith. And then the Quran says, وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. And make sure that you have dialogue. You use dialogue with non-Muslims. And tell non-Muslims about Islam through your dialogue. And make sure that your dialogue and discourse is positive when it comes to non-Muslims. In other words, the Quran is saying that we Muslims must have a powerful PR campaign. We have to have outreach with non-Muslims and tell them about our religion, teach them about our religion. And we have to lobby for our religion in that way. Because you see, it's not enough that we come to the majalis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we come to Salat al-Jum'ah, and we have programs that are catered to ourselves only. Because when Muslims came to America 30, 40, 50 years ago, their first stage, their natural first stage was to establish organizations, establish mosques and programs that catered to their needs, to the Muslim community's needs. They wanted to teach their children about Islam. They wanted to protect the faith of their children. But now, brothers and sisters, we have to move on and evolve to stage 2. And that is, we have to take our religion outside the mosque, outside the Islamic centers, and we have to take them to non-Muslims. We have to make sure that non-Muslims are also learning about Islam in the same way that we gather here to teach ourselves about Islam. We have to extend and take Islam beyond our walls, beyond ourselves. And we have to tell non-Muslims about Islam. Now you may ask why, for 2 reasons. Number 1, why we have to tell others about Islam, we have to have dialogue, and we have to communicate, we have to teach non-Muslims about Islam, is because even though you may think that this country is a very educated country, and the best universities of the world are in this country, but you'd be surprised how ignorant non-Muslims are of Islam. They don't know anything about Islam. They are as ignorant as people living in the jungles of Africa when it comes to Islam. They don't know anything about our religion. And I always mention this. There was a survey, a study that CARE did a few years ago to try to find out how much non-Muslims in America know about Islam. So they did the survey, the study, and the study found out, the study showed that 60% of Americans know nothing about Islam. They don't know anything about Islam. And remember, this is, number 1, the most educated people in the world. We're not talking about Africa. We're not talking about, a third world country. And number 2, this is Islam, the world's second largest religion. And 60% of Americans don't know anything about Islam. And what's even more disturbing is that 10% of Americans believe that we Muslims worship the moon. They think that Muslims worship a moon god. Maybe it's because of Ramadan, we're looking for the moon, we're looking for the crescent because we want to have Eid faster. But the point is, they're completely lost, brothers and sisters. They don't know anything about Islam. And I've heard this point mentioned by many scholars, that when a Muslim scholar or speaker goes to a church to speak about Islam or to a university, the most common question that they get is this: what is the difference between Islam and Muslims? Are these two religions or one religion? So this is their level of understanding of Islam. They don't know anything about it. They're completely clueless about Islam. And if you remember, there was a debate a few years ago between Terry Jones, who wanted to burn the Quran, and my father. You can see it on YouTube. So Terry Jones was asked by the host, why do you want to burn the Quran? His answer was, I want to burn the Quran because I want to protest against Sharia law. So the host then asked my father, can you reply to him? And he asked him a very simple question. He asked him, can you please tell me what Sharia law is first? And Terry Jones began to stutter. I don't know. He doesn't even know what Sharia law is, and he's protesting against something which is he has absolutely no information about. And Terry Jones is what? He's a scholar. He's supposed to be a Christian priest. He has to have knowledge. Can you imagine average people? So they are completely clueless about Islam. They don't know anything about it. That's why it's our obligation to teach them. So that's number one, there's ignorance. There's sheer widespread ignorance about Islam. Number two, why it's our responsibility to teach non-Muslims about Islam is because on one side you have the ignorance, and on the other side you have a huge wave of propaganda against Islam. You see, if we don't teach non-Muslims about Islam, do you know who will? Do you know who will become spokesman of Islam? Two groups. Number one, the media. The media, like Fox News, will become, and they have already become, spokesmen of Islam. They will tell people and teach them about Islam. Do you want Fox News to be your spokesman, brothers and sisters? When a non-Muslim doesn't know something about Islam, are you comfortable that they go to Fox News to learn about Islam? Do you think Fox News, who's run by a bunch of Zionists, will tell them the true Islam? Will tell them about the true, genuine Islam? Or they will only serve their agendas and spread propaganda and brainwash people into thinking Islam is the worst religion. Islam is the most evil religion. So that's the first group, the media and their propaganda. And number two, if we don't come up, if we don't rise and teach people about Islam, the extremists like ISIS, like al-Qaeda, the Wahhabis, remember I set up the counterfeit version of Islam? If we don't step up and tell people about the true Islam, they will speak on our behalf. And they will become spokesmen of Islam. So think about it, brothers and sisters. Imagine you're an American living here in America. And you want to learn about Islam. Where do you go to? We Muslims, we're completely sleeping. We're busy, too busy with our lives. Do we have programs that teach non-Muslims about Islam? No, we don't. Do we have channels, satellite channels, that teach people about Islam? We don't have any of that. If we have it at a very small scale, if we had it at a larger scale, where we had programs directed at non-Muslims, specifically at non-Muslims, wouldn't this make Islam much more accessible to them? So I'm a non-Muslim living in the U.S. I want to learn about Islam. Where do I go to? I'm going to turn on Fox News because I don't have another source. When we have not made Islam accessible to non-Muslims, they're going to go to the extremists. They're going to go to the media. And this is our fault because we have not created an easy way for them to learn about Islam. If we create and make Islam accessible to them, obviously the media and the extremists can speak on our behalf. So that's why, brothers and sisters, because of the ignorance that we see, the propaganda of the media and the propaganda of the extremists, for these reasons you find that there's all these negative views and opinions and sentiments against Islam. No wonder that most Americans don't love Islam. No wonder that when we read the studies, when we read the research about how non-Muslims see Islam, it's all negative. Because we Muslims aren't showing them the true Islam. And then we have this wave of propaganda that's brainwashing them and showing them that Islam is an evil religion. Islam is the worst religion. So why expect any better? And that's why, brothers and sisters, we need two groups of individuals. I know many of us were young. We want to seek a very good career. And most of us, we think, let me become a doctor. Let me become a lawyer. Let me become a businessman. Because I want to become successful and wealthy in this world. But think, brothers and sisters, think about being someone that can serve Islam? Why don't we ever think and try to become servants of this religion, protectors of this religion, people that can become spokesmen of Islam? Why? Why don't we ever think that this is the best way to serve Islam? Our youth are not interested in this. Why don't I commit my life and dedicate my life to become a spokesman of Islam? Someone that can teach people about Islam in this country. And that's why we need two groups, like I said. The first group of people, young people that we need smart, talented people, young men and women that can advocate for Islam, that can market Islam in the most beautiful way. You see, in this country, the most important thing is marketing. And whoever is in business knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you have the best product to sell, the best service, but you don't market your product, no one will buy it, will they? If I, have the best product, but it's sitting in my basement, no one's going to buy it. And on the contrary, if you have the worst product, but you market it in a good way, everyone's going to buy it, won't they? It's all about marketing. That's why companies spend billions of dollars just on advertising and marketing. And the greatest testimony to this is the tobacco industry. Everybody knows cigarettes are bad, and they kill you, and they cause cancer, and they're so expensive, all the taxes. But yet, why is it that so many young people, they still find it cool to smoke? They go and they buy and they smoke and they smoke. Why did they start smoking? Why do they find it so cool? That doesn't come for free, because it's estimated that the tobacco industry spends a whopping $10 billion a year just advertising and marketing cigarettes. $10 billion a year. You take poison, you advertise it in a nice way, and people buy it. People buy it and they take it. Because you're spending billions of dollars on advertising. So this shows us that if you want something to succeed, if you want people to buy your product, you have to advertise it in a good way, market it in a good way. Islam, which is the most beautiful religion I mentioned last night. It's the religion of peace. It's the religion of love. It's the religion of mercy and forgiveness. It's the religion of Rasulullah and Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What a beautiful religion that has such beautiful leaders. But because we're not marketing it, nobody's buying it, nobody's loving it, nobody's believing in it. And on the contrary, we have so many individuals that are marketing it in the worst way. We have all this propaganda against Islam. And that's why we need smart people, talented people who are shrewd, who can defend Islam, who can market Islam in the most beautiful way, especially in the media. And I know we have so many brilliant, talented young people who know how to speak, who are smart, they're bold. I see some people in the community, young men and women, who know how to speak so well. Allah has given them the ability to speak. They're persuasive. They're very dynamic. Why don't they use their power to defend Islam? Go on the Fox, channel and the CNN channel, different shows, and defend Islam. Say something nice about Islam. Show Islam in a presentable way. On social media, articles, newspapers. We need smart people who can defend Islam, brothers and sisters. Think about it. This is the biggest service I can do for my religion. Let me commit my life for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and defend Islam. And there are many examples. I see sometimes they send clips. Young people who they're not scholars, they're not religious scholars, but they're smart. They're academically very well educated. And they're very shrewd and they know how to speak and persuade people. For example, you have George Galloway. I don't know if you've seen his clips. How beautifully he defends Islam. He speaks so well. He can connect with his audience. Someone like Riza Aslan. Riza Aslan, he speaks so beautifully. Someone like Mehdi Hassan. I've seen his clips. MashaAllah. The great work that he does. How he defends Islam and Muslims. And shows Muslims and Islam in such a beautiful way. But these people like Mehdi Hassan, they're very well educated in, They've been to the best universities. They're smart. They know how to speak. They're bold. They're shrewd. And I know we have so much potential, but we need more individuals. Because we need people who can use wisdom, who can use smart ways. You have to be smart in how you present Islam. You don't present it in any way. There's some people who repel non-Muslims from Islam. They try to invite others to Islam, but they repel. So we have to be smart. Sometimes you see certain people, they go and they try to invite non-Muslims to Islam. What do they tell them? If you don't believe in Islam, if you don't become a Muslim, you're going to go to hell. You think this is an effective way? Of course not. I remember once, I received a phone call from my young son's school. My young son, Hussein, he was, I think, in first grade. He was going to school here, and I get a phone call from the principal of the school. Can you please come after school? We need to talk to you about your son. So I was alarmed. What did he do? Did he hit some kid? Did he get in a fight? Did he say something bad? Was he rude? So I went in the office of the principal, and she said, please sit down. Your son, it's about your son Hussein, and he's done something. What did he do? So I'm just waiting. And she was in a very awkward position. She didn't know what to say. I said, what happened? Tell me, did he hit someone? Was he rude? No. She's like, last night we got a phone call from one of the mothers of another child in his class. And she was telling us that your son Hussein is trying to make her son a Muslim. What did he do? He went to him, he saw him eating pepperoni pizza. He told him, haram, don't eat pepperoni, you're going to go to hell. So she was telling me that, please, this is, a public school, separation of church and state. And that mother wanted to take her child out of that school because she thought that, this was intentionally done. They're trying to, indoctrinate or teach their children about Islam. So maybe it's not the best idea that you go and tell someone if you don't eat pepperoni, you're going to go to hell. If you don't pray, you're going to go to hell. We have to be wise, and that's why the Quran says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah." You have to be very wise. Use smart ways to market Islam, to attract people to Islam. And one of the most, brothers and sisters, one of the most powerful ways and effective ways to attract non-Muslims, especially Christians and Jews, to Islam, is to show them that Islam is very similar to their religion. Like I said, many non-Muslims, they don't know anything about Islam. But once we show them that Islam is very similar to their religion, they'll be more inclined to accept it and see it as one of, an ordinary, normal religion like theirs. We should learn from Ja'far al-Tayyar. Ja'far al-Tayyar, there's a beautiful story of how he teaches us how to propagate for our religion. During the beginning of Islam, the kuffar, the disbelievers of Quraysh, they would oppress the companions of the Holy Prophet because they believed in the Prophet. They would oppress them, they would persecute them, they would torture them just because they believed in the Prophet. They placed a siege on them. They sanctioned them. For a couple of years, the Holy Prophet, he had to seek refuge in a cave with his uncle. They had no food. They had nothing. So some of the companions, their conditions were too dire. The Holy Prophet told some of them to leave Mecca, emigrate, and go to Abyssinia. Because they had heard that in Abyssinia there was a just king. A just king by the name of Najashi. He was a Christian king. So the Holy Prophet instructed Ja'far al-Tayyar, the brother of Imam Ali, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. He instructed him to take the Muslims, to lead them and go and, seek refuge there. Because they had heard that he's a very just king, he's a very good king. So Ja'far al-Tayyar, he takes this group of Muslims and they go and they head to Abyssinia. Once they arrive to Abyssinia, they see Amr ibn al-As is there. Amr ibn al-As, he was sent by the kuffar, by the polytheists of Mecca. They sent him to go to the king and try to persuade him to prevent the Muslims from living there. So Amr ibn al-As, he arrives before the Muslims. He goes to the king and he tells him, look, today or tomorrow, a group of Muslims will arrive. These people, let me tell you about them. They're heretics. They're liars. They're cheaters. They have caused so much trouble in our city in Mecca. They have caused corruption. All this propaganda that he spreads against Muslim. So when they come here, make sure that you arrest them and you ship them back to Mecca. Now Najashi doesn't know any better. He doesn't know who Muslims are. This new religion, Islam, Muhammad, he has no clue about it. So, and you see, and there's the propaganda, subhanallah. How similar was that day to today? You see the propaganda against Islam. Najashi doesn't know anything about Islam. Just like today, people are ignorant about Islam and there's propaganda against us. So once Ja'far al-Tayyar arrives with the Muslims, Najashi, he was very smart and he was fair and just. So he summoned Ja'far. He told him, oh Ja'far, come. Amr ibn al-As, the Arabs, they say that you Muslims, you have caused so much trouble and problems in your community and you're a bunch of heretics and you've caused corruption. What do you have to say for yourself? Look at how beautifully Ja'far al-Tayyar, he shows Islam in a beautiful way. Ja'far al-Tayyar is smart. He knows that Najashi is a Christian. So what does he do? So he works on, the same similarities. He tries to show him that Islam is very similar to Christianity. Don't believe them. This is propaganda. He tells him, there is a man by the name of Muhammad. He appeared and he began to tell us not to worship the idols. He told us to worship God. He told us to pray. He told us to pay charity, zakat, to fast. He told us to believe in the day of judgment. These are all beliefs that Christians believe in. He told us to spread justice, to say no to injustice. And for that reason, the Arabs of Mecca, they were fighting us. Just for believing in these good values and beliefs. So Najashi, he's surprised. He sees that this is a very good religion. There's nothing evil about it. So then he tells him, do you have a book in your religion? Ja'far al-Tayyar tells Najashi the king, he says, yes. Our book is called the Holy Quran. You see how beautifully he presents Islam. But he was educated, Ja'far al-Tayyar, and he was wise and smart, shrewd. Ja'far al-Tayyar says, yes, we do have a book called the Quran. Najashi tells him, can you read me a chapter of your Quran? And look at which chapter he chooses, how smart he is. Which chapter does he choose? Surah Maryam. The chapter of Maryam, because he knows he's a Christian and he believes in Mary. So he tells him, I will read you from the chapter of Maryam. He says, wait a minute, which Maryam is this? He tells him, Maryam, the mother of Jesus. He says, you believe in the Virgin Mary? He says, yes. You believe that she was the mother of Jesus? Yes. You believe in the virgin birth? Yes. He's shocked. This religion is so similar to my religion. So he begins loving Islam. He tells him, read me from the Quran, from Surah Maryam. He begins to read him where Allah mentions how Maryam brought Jesus to her tribe, to her people, how they accused her because she didn't have a husband, and then how Jesus, he spoke to them while he was a baby. The Quran says, فَأَتَتْ بِهِ قَوْمَهَا تَحْمِلُهُ قَالُوا يَا مَرْيَمْ لَقَدْ جِئْتِ شَيْئًا فَرِيًّا يَا أُخْتَ هَارُونَ مَا كَانَ أَبُوكِ امْرَأَ سُوءٍ وَمَا كَانَتْ أُمُّكِ بَغِيًّا. They told her, why did you do such a thing? You bring a baby and you have no husband. What did she do? فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ قالوا كيف نكلم من كان في المهد صبيا. All she did, she pointed at the baby. Jesus, he was a baby, just born baby, a newborn baby. She pointed to him. They told her, how can we speak to a baby? He can't speak. And this is where the miracle of Allah was shown to everyone. فأشارت إليه قالوا كيف نكلم من كان في المهد صبيا. قال إني عبد الله آتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا وبرا بوالدتي ولم يجعلني جبارا شقيا والسلام علي يوم ولدت ويوم أموت ويوم أبعث حيا. He told him the entire story of how Jesus was born and how when they asked Maryam, what did you do? Where did this baby come from? Jesus began to speak when he was a baby. He told him these verses and he told them, I am the servant of Allah and I am a messenger of Allah and my mother has done nothing wrong. This is a miracle. And he spoke for his mother. He defended her. So when Najashi heard these words, he was shocked. These Muslims are just like us. They believe in Jesus. They believe in the virgin birth. They believe in Mary. It's very similar to a religion to ours. So when he heard all of this, he told Amr ibn al-As, get out of here. He kicked him out of his country and he told Ja'far al-Tayyar that you and the Muslims can live here freely and you'll have freedom of religion. Because he saw the religion is just like their religion. How beautifully he presented Islam. Most non-Muslims now, brothers and sisters, they have no clue that our religion is similar to theirs. You think most non-Muslims in America know that we believe in Jesus? They don't. They think we worship the moon. You think they know we believe in Maryam? Do you think they know there's an entire chapter in the Quran called Maryam? Even the Bible doesn't have that, does it? The Bible does not have a chapter called Maryam. The Quran has that. So we should tell them about these things because obviously the more they know, the closer they will feel to Islam. And our goal isn't to make them Muslims, brothers and sisters. Our goal is just to make them see Islam in a friendly way. When they see Islam as a religion that's like their religion, they will accept it. They will see Muslims as normal people. You know, they have a good religion. Instead of all of this hatred and Islamophobia, it will change to friendly views towards Islam. You think they know that we believe in Jesus and Moses and Ibrahim and Adam and all the other divine prophets? They don't know that. Tell them that the Kaaba is built by Ibrahim. They don't know that. Tell them that we believe in Adam and Eve. We believe in the Day of Judgment. They will see that our religion is very close to their religion. And this is a very effective way of teaching them about Islam, is to show them that our religion is very close to their religion. So this is the first group of individuals that we need, brothers and sisters. We need smart, shrewd, educated, young Muslim and Muslimat and Muslimin. We need them to propagate for Islam, to invite others to Islam by presenting Islam in a nice way, by teaching them about Islam. And one of the most effective ways, like I said, is to focus on the similarities. That's number one. Number two, brothers and sisters, the second type of people that we need amongst you is we need religious scholars. Like I said, many of us, our goal is to be what? Doctor, lawyer, businessman. That's the only three jobs that God ever created. All of us want to be either doctor, lawyer, or a businessman. Has any of us thought of being a religious scholar? Has any of us considered becoming a scholar that defends Islam in America? Because we need scholars, Muslim scholars that are born and raised in America, brothers and sisters. If the scholar is born and raised in the Middle East, he's less effective because once he is born and raised in America, he speaks fluent English. He understands the mentality of the American people and he can connect. He can persuade them. He can speak to them because he's born and raised. He's one of them. How many of us have thought of becoming a scholar? And when I become a scholar, I can serve two purposes. Number one, I can show the true version of Islam. Remember we said there is the counterfeit version of Islam that's being spread now? The Islam of Wahhabism, the Islam of ISIS, which is the wrong Islam. When I become a scholar and I'm educated about Islam, I've studied Islam, I can show the American people, I can show everyone here the true version of Islam. And that is the Islam of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Wallahi, how my heart aches when I read the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt, the ahadith of Imam Ali, of Imam Hassan, of Imam Hussein, of Imam Zainul Abidin, Baqir, Sadiq, Kadhim, all the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. When I read their treasures, I say, Wallahi, if the non-Muslims were to read about these ahadith, they will fall in love with Islam. But do you know what the problem is? They never hear about these ahadith. They never hear about these beautiful stories from Ahlul Bayt. It's always ISIS and violence and killing. That's Islam to them. Why don't I become someone that takes it upon myself as my obligation to make sure that all non-Muslims know about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, that they know about his sacrifice on the day of Ashura, they know about Imam Ali. This beautiful book, Nahjul Balagha, the book of Sahif al-Sajjadiyya. Imagine if non-Muslims were to see this and they were to be persuaded that this is the true Islam. Now obviously if I want to do that, I need knowledge. I have to go to a hawza and study, don't I? I have to go to a seminary. I have to educate myself about Islam, about the Imams, about the ahadith. Only then I can teach non-Muslims about Islam. So that's the first purpose, brothers and sisters. Al-Imam al-Rida alayhi salam says, teach people about us, Ahlul Bayt. And then he says, فَإِنَّ النَّاسِ لَوْ عَلِمُوا مَحَاسِنَ كَلَامِنَا لَاتَّبَعُونَا. He says, teach people about us, Ahlul Bayt. Tell them of our beautiful words and stories and lessons. Why? He says, because wallahi, if people hear about Ahlul Bayt, they will believe. The problem is they don't hear about Ahlul Bayt. But once they hear, they will believe. And the American people are mostly good people. They accept the truth when they see it. But they don't see it because it's only this counterfeit version of Islam that they see every day. It's our responsibility to show them, at least show them the way. This is the true Islam, the Islam of Imam Hussein, of Imam Sadiq, Imam Zainul Abidin. So that's the first thing I can do if I become a scholar. The second thing, brothers and sisters, if I become a scholar in Islam, I will be able to refute the misconceptions that are against Islam. Let me ask you a question. If a non-Muslim comes to any one of you, he brings you the Quran, and he tells you, look at these verses. Allah instructs you, Muslims, kill the disbelievers wherever you see them. Do you know how to reply? There is a verse in the Quran that says this. Do I know how to reply? Have I read tafsir, the science of tafsir and how I explain the Quran? Have we educated ourselves? If a non-Muslim comes and tells me your Quran is filled with violence, do I know how to answer? If I don't have knowledge, if I don't go and study, I can't answer. I go to Hawza, they teach me tafsir, they teach me the importance of context, the Arabic meaning. I look at the verse before and after, only then I can understand the Quran in the correct way. If a non-Muslim comes to you and he tells you your Quran is filled with misogynistic verses, do I know how to reply? Unless I go to Hawza, to seminary, and I study, I won't be able to reply, brothers and sisters. There's so many misconceptions about Islam. And if I do not study Islam, I can't reply to this. And that's why I encourage you, brothers and sisters, we need more scholars, religious scholars, that are able to refute these accusations, these misconceptions, that can clear this ignorance. But you have to study first. So think about this. Consider going to Hawza and studying and becoming a scholar. Now, I know the excuse that many of us have. The excuse that many of us have is that it's difficult for me to go to Hawza because Hawza is in Iran and Iraq. And those are countries that are not stable. My parents won't allow me. How can I live there? I can't leave my job. Whatever. So many excuses, right? We can no longer use this excuse, brothers and sisters. And that's because now the Hawza has come to you. Now there is a Hawza in Dearborn Heights. A full-time Hawza that every single one of you can attend and learn the true Islam in. And it's sponsored by the Islamic Institute of America, this building. Starting this year, brothers and sisters, there will be a full-time Hawza in the Islamic Institute of America, Monday through Thursday, 3 hours a day. They will teach you about Islam, about the Quran, so you can answer to that non-Muslim when he tells you your Quran is a violent book. They will teach you Arabic, so you understand the Quran and the Hadith. They will teach you fiqh, which is Islamic jurisprudence. They will teach you about Rasulullah and the Imams and their lives and their stories. They will teach you about the Islamic Aqeedah, the Islamic belief system. And it will begin in beginning of October. The name of the Hawza is Al-Hujjah Seminary. The seminary of Imam Al-Hujjah. Ajjal Allah Ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. Brother Abbas, are you ready or you need more time? So I encourage all of you to enroll, brothers and sisters. And it's at night, I think from 6 to 9. So you can go to work, you can go to school, and then you can attend the Hawza. What's my excuse when I have ignorance if there's a Hawza in my town? There's no excuse for ignorance anymore. There's a Hawza. Everyone can enroll. And it's all in English. All the classes are in English. Even if you don't know a word of Arabic, you can attend, and they will explain everything for you. So I encourage you, brothers and sisters. Na'am? The Hawza, the classes will be taught in English. Of course, you'll learn Arabic because you need to learn Arabic to understand the Quran and the Hadith. But the classes will all be taught in English. And it will begin in October, brothers and sisters. There's a video, a 2-minute video, that I want you to see about the Hawza. If you're ready, Brother Abbas, please play it. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The volume.
While they pray, yet they pay charity. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa would formally recite the verses to all of the men in one assembly. We assume it's pure because of the law of purity. قاعدة الطهارة.
So brothers and sisters, you can enroll either online, hujjaseminary.com, or you can enroll here, go to the front desk, and the classes will begin the beginning of October. It's 4 times a week, Monday to Thursday at night. If you can't come to all the classes, choose any class that you like, and wallahi, it'll be very beneficial to you. Last year, there were some courses and there were some students that attended and they benefited greatly. So, this is one of the greatest ways I can help my faith, my religion, that is so distorted. And I can show the true version of Islam, brothers and sisters. During the time of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, there used to be so many of his companions who were great scholars that defended Islam, that defended the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. In one story, a man came from Sham to visit Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And he came in the house of the Imam. The Imam was teaching his companions. So he asked him, what do you want? He says, I'm a scholar from Sham. And I heard that you claim to be a scholar. He tells this to our 6th Imam. I have come here to debate you. He's basically thinking that he's more knowledgeable than Imam al-Sadiq. So the Imam asks him, what do you want to debate me about? He tells him, I want to debate you about the Quran. I know more about the Quran than you. You know what the Imam does? The Imam calls one of his companions by the name of Humran ibn A'yan. He says, oh Humran, come. He tells the Shami, debate Humran. So the Shami says, I don't want to debate Humran, I want to debate you, the teacher. He says, if you debate Humran and you defeat him, then it's as if you have defeated me. So he says, fine, this is a student of al-Sadiq. So they have the debate, the discussion, and Humran, he destroys the Shami when it comes to Al-Quran. So the Shami, he's surprised. This is the student of al-Sadiq and he destroyed me. So then he goes to Imam al-Sadiq, he says, I want to debate you about Arabic, the Arabic grammar, because Quran is all Arabic, and the more Arabic you know, the more you understand the Quran. The Imam calls another one of his companions, Aban ibn Taghlib. Oh Aban, come here. He tells him, debate Aban, and if you defeat Aban in the Arabic language, you have defeated Ja'far al-Sadiq. Aban comes, they have the debate, Aban crushes this Shami. He says, now I want to debate you about fiqh. Fiqh is Islamic law and jurisprudence. What's halal and haram. So the Imam calls a third companion of his by the name of Zurara ibn A'yan, the brother of Humran ibn A'yan. Zurara, come forth. What do you want? Debate this man. He debates the Shami and he crushes him in fiqh. Then the Shami says, now I want to debate you about Aqeedah, Kalam, the Islamic belief system. The Imam calls a fourth of his companion. And this fourth companion was one of his companions by the name of Mu'min al-Taq. Mu'min al-Taq, come here. Debate this man about Aqeedah, belief system. He debates him and he crushes the Shami. Finally, he says, I want to debate you about Imamah. Who was the Imam after Rasulullah? He calls a fifth one of his companions by the name of Hisham ibn al-Hakam. Hisham, come and debate him. Hisham comes and debates him and he crushes him. Then the Imam tells him, what do you think? He tells him, unbelievable. These are your students and they are this knowledgeable? How knowledgeable are you? There was a time, brothers and sisters, when the Imams used to have so many brilliant scholars, their students, and they used to defend Islam. They used to defend Imam al-Sadiq. And this one in specific, Hisham ibn al-Hakam, he would go around. Do you know what he would do? All he would do is go around the Muslim nation and defend Imam Sadiq. Why? Because he was a powerful, dynamic speaker. He was very smart and shrewd, and he was very knowledgeable. He would go to the academic gatherings. Anytime there was Muslims sitting and debating, he would go, he would enter the debate, and he would crush everyone. He had dedicated his life to defending Islam, to defending Imam Sadiq, to defending the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt. And that's why the Imam would do dua for him. He used to say about Hisham ibn al-Hakam, Hisham ibn al-Hakam, nasiruna biqalbihi wa lisanih. You want to support Ahlul Bayt, support them with your tongue. Support them with your mouth by inviting others to Islam. But you need knowledge before that. That's why I encourage you, come and enroll in this house. No matter how old you are, even if you're 40, 50, 60, you can come and join and learn about Islam. So Hisham ibn al-Hakam, he had dedicated his life to defending Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. In another incident, Imam al-Sadiq told him, لا تزال مؤيدا بروح القدس ما نصرتنا بلسانك. He told him, as long as you defend us, Ahlul Bayt, with your mouth, with your speech, Allah Azza wa Jal will guide you with the Holy Divine Spirit. And that's why any time Hisham ibn al-Hakam would enter a debate against, sometimes he would enter a debate 1 against 20 scholars. And he would destroy all of them. Because Allah would help him and guide him. We need more people like Hisham ibn al-Hakam, brothers and sisters. Dedicated, devout Muslims who are knowledgeable, who have studied, and they can come out and defend Islam. So that when they tell us that your Quran is violent, when your Quran is misogynistic, when your prophet used to be a man of terror, a man of violence, I know how to refute these accusations. I bring them the proofs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In your books it says this, and in my books it says that. And if in order for me to be able to do that, I have to be knowledgeable. I have to study the religion of Islam. And that's why I can't stress enough, brothers and sisters, the importance of educating ourselves about Islam. Wallahi, it's so saddening and heartbreaking. It's so disheartening when I see Islam, this beautiful religion, there's no one to defend it. No one to defend it. We have only a few people, and unfortunately, this is a problem that we're having. I see sometimes certain speakers in our communities, mashallah, they speak very well, but they haven't studied. And that's why even those speakers, I invite them to come to this house and educate yourself. Yes, they speak very well. Yes, maybe they're very, educated. They're self-taught. But that's not enough. I have to go to Hawza and I have to educate myself about the pure Islam, about the true Islam. And this is the greatest service that I can do to my religion, brothers and sisters. Like I mentioned, Imam Hussein alayhi salam gave everything for Allah. He gave all of his children for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The least thing we can do is defend Imam Hussein. Tell the world about Imam Hussein. Wallahi, if people, non-Muslims, know about Imam Hussein, they will fall in love with him. Because everyone that hears the story of Aba Abdullah falls in love with him. I remember when they made the movie Passion of Christ. People went wild, they went crazy. How much did they cry at that story? Because Jesus sacrificed his life for everyone. Imagine if they hear about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the man that not only sacrificed his life, he sacrificed his companions, he sacrificed his brothers, he sacrificed his nephews, he sacrificed his own children, even his 6-month-old baby, he gave him for Allah. Why? He did that for us, brothers and sisters, so that we can be free human beings in this world. Or else we would all be following the Islam, the counterfeit Islam of Bani Umayyah, the one that you see. Wallahi, if Imam Hussein if it was not for his revolution, the only Islam today would be the Islam of Wahhabis, the Islam that just wants to kill and destroy. It was Imam Hussein alayhi salam that preserved the true Islam, the message of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And the Imam paid a very heavy price. He had to give his own blood. He had to even give the blood of his 6-month-old baby. Brothers, sisters, it's the night of Ashura. And during this night, usually we remember the 6-month-old baby of Imam Hussein, this innocent baby. This crime that they committed, where they killed Abdullah al-Radi', the 6-month-old baby of Imam Hussein. It was their most wicked crime. Because let's assume Imam Hussein was evil. Let's assume Al-Abbas was evil. Let's assume Al-Qasim and the companions were all evil. Why did they kill a 6-month-old baby? Was the baby also a criminal? Was the baby also an evil person? It was the greatest act of transgression and oppression. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made the message of Imam Hussein eternal. Because he was mazloom, he was oppressed. Even his 6-month-old baby was taken from him. On the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein alayhi salam was like a gardener. A gardener who goes and picks flowers. Each one of his companions was like a flower that he gave and sacrificed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And usually gardeners, after they want to make a collection, a bundle of flowers, they look for a small bud. A small, unopened, unblossomed flower, and they take that small flower and they crown their bundle of flowers with it. Imam Hussein alayhi salam has sacrificed all his companions on the day of Ashura. These flowers that he sacrificed for Allah, but now he's looking for that crown. That small, unopened, unblossomed flower to crown to crown the bundle of flowers with. And that is his 6-month-old baby, Abdullah al-Radi'. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, he looked to see no one remaining. All his companions were dead. Al-Abbas was killed, Al-Qasim was killed, Ali al-Akbar was killed. All of his companions were killed. He began to look left and right. All he could see from them was their bloody, mutilated bodies on the sand of Karbala. He stood on a hill and he cried out, ألا هل من ناصر ينصرني ألا يا ما هل من معين يعينني. He began to cry out for help. Is there no one left to protect me? Is there no one left to fight for the grandson of Rasulullah? The mother of Abdullah al-Radi' al-Rabab, she was in the tent. She says, Wallahi, when Hussein made that call, my baby Abdullah, he was in a swaddle. She says, when he heard the voice of his father cry out, Ala hal min nasirin yansuruni, is there no one to fight for me and defend me? She says, this little baby took his hands out of the swaddle and he began to cry as if he is saying, my dear father, you have one soldier left. I may be tiny, I may be small, but I'm here for you, my father. Allahu Akbar. Abdullah al-Radi', the last sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein alayhi salam comes to farewell all the women on the day of Ashura. He comes, he calls Zainab, he calls Sukaina, he calls all of his sisters and all of his daughters and nephews and nieces. He calls all of them to farewell them. Zainab alayhi salam, when she comes to farewell Imam Hussein, she brings the 6-month-old baby to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. She tells him, my dear brother Hussein, look at your little baby. He's dying of thirst. His mother has no more milk left. Please take him to the enemies. Ask them for water. Maybe they will show him some mercy. You know why Zainab brought Abdullah al-Radi' to Imam Hussein instead of his mother? Because his mother could no longer look at this baby, because he was moaning, he was in torture, he was in pain because of how thirsty he was. Zainab had to bring this baby to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein took his little baby in his hands. He looked at him, he saw this baby has no more energy. He can't even cry, he is dying of thirst. He went to the enemies and he cried out to them, Ya qawm, qataltum awladi wa ashabi. You killed all my men. This is the only child that I have left. لم يبق لي سوى هذا الطفل الرضيع. He tells them, look at him, he is dying of thirst. He tells them, please take him, give him some water and bring him back. Don't give me the water, you give him the water. All of a sudden, a quarrel erupted between the enemies. Some of them said, let's give him a water, he's only a baby. Others said, no, deprive their children even of water. All of a sudden, Umar ibn Sa'ad yelled to Harmala, one of the enemies. He told him, Ya Harmala, اقطع نزاع القوم. Oh Harmala, end the argument. All of a sudden, Imam Hussein is holding his little baby like this to the enemy, thinking that they will give him water. But instead, the Imam sees a 3-headed arrow that pierces the chest, that pierces the neck of Abdullah al-Radi' al-Mukhtar, who went after the killers of Imam Hussein. When he arrested Harmala, this man that killed Abdullah al-Radi', he told him, how didn't your heart break when you killed that little baby of Aba Abdullah? He told him, yes, when I threw the arrow, I saw this baby began to hug his father Hussein out of fear. Father, I thought they were going to give me water, but instead he saw a 3-headed arrow. that pierced his neck from the vein to the vein. Aywa Husayna. Imam Hussein took the blood of his baby, he threw it towards the sky, and he said, Hawwana ma nazala bi annahu bi'ayn Allah. What gives me patience is that Allah is watching. And then he heard a call from the sky telling him, Da'hu ya Hussein, fa inna lahu murdi'atan fil jannah. Hussein, please don't worry about your son, because your son now is in the heavens and he will be taken care of. Allahu Akbar. Imam Hussein doesn't know how to go back. How can I go back and this child is killed? He goes back to the tent carrying the body of his baby. Who comes out of the tent? His little girl Sukaina, his daughter Sukaina comes out. She tells him, my dear father Hussein, did you give water to my brother Abdullah? And you brought water to me as well. He shows her the body of Abdullah. He tells her, my dear daughter, خذي أخاك مذبوحا من الوريد إلى الوريد. He tells her, my dear daughter, look at what they did to your little baby brother. They killed him. Allahu Akbar. They take Abdullah, they place him in his crib, they place him in his cradle. Who comes to him? His mother Rabab. Imagine if you have a 6-month-old baby, you give your baby to the father, he should take him and bring him while he has gotten water, he has gotten, his thirst has been quenched, but instead you see that the baby has been killed. What will happen to those mothers? She came, she saw the blood on the baby. Ibni Abdullah. She began to cry for her little baby. Who did this to you, my baby? Who had the audacity to kill a 6-month-old baby? How can I sleep tonight, my little baby? When your cradle will be empty, how can I sleep? Do you know how many sleepless nights I had? She begins to speak to him. How can I live after you, my little baby, Abdullah? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Brothers and sisters, please, before you move, I'll read a short latmiyah, inshallah. It's the night of Ashura. But before I begin, I want to remind you that tomorrow is the day of Ashura. And I will read the maqtal, the story of how Imam Hussein was killed exactly on the day of Ashura, tomorrow here at 9 a.m. I know tomorrow is a weekday, and I know we have work, we have school, but it's only one day, and it's for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Take one day off for Imam Hussein. Wallahi, God will give you the best of this world and the next. So I ask all of you, invite you to be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. and I will recite the maqtal of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And then our concluding program will be tomorrow night at the same time, at 6:45, inshallah, will be the last majlis. And then we won't see you until Ramadan. So please, I ask you to be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. and tomorrow night at 6:45 p.m. and then everything finishes. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. وحسينا وحسينا everyone وحسينا وحسينا everyone louder, brothers and sisters, it's the night of Ashura. وحسينا 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 يا ليل طول ساعاتك يا ليل أحمل آهاتك. Whoever's memorized it, read with me. يا ليل طول ساعاتك يا ليل أحمل آهاتك يا ليل طول أحمل آهاتك يا ليل. Oh night night, prolong your hours. O night, carry your sorrows. O night, prolong your hours. O night, carry your sorrows. Tonight is Zainab's last night. Tonight, prepare for the fight. Tomorrow's Hussein's last fight. Tomorrow's the day of might. Wa Husseina, everyone. Wa Husseina. يا ليل ارحم دلالي. يا ليل ضاعت آمالي. يا ليل ارحم دلالي. يا ليل ضاعت آمالي. Oh night, have mercy on my heart. Oh night, my hopes have been lost. Tonight, weep Zainab and sigh. Tonight, mourn Hussein and cry. Zainab, brace for tragedy. Zainab, brace for agony. Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina. يا ليل صبحك يفجعني. يا ليل كافي تروعني. يا ليل صبحك يفجعني. يا ليل كافي تروعني. Everyone, يا ليل طول ساعاتك. يا ليل يا ليل طول ساعاتك. يا ليل احمل آهاتك. وحسينا 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 وحسينا. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Brothers and sisters, it's the night of Ashura. Let us raise our hands and supplicate to Allah that may Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us of our sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our a'mal, answer our hajat, hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه وفي كل ساعة قائدا وناصرا ودليلا عينا حتى تسكن أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الفاتحة مع الصلوات.